Hey, what it do, y'all? It's your boy YouTube Blue coming back at you again. And hey, hey, got another Cowboys signed somebody that wasn't already on the team. How about that? Um, Cowboys signed Gerald McCoy. Now, we talked about Gerald McCoy before he signed with the Panthers. When he signed his 1 year contract with them last year. We talked about getting them in here before. I know that I had this conversation with Mark. I talked to a couple other YouTubers about it. But I think that getting Gerald McCoy now makes a lot of sense because you lose Robert Quinn and you got your other defensive tackles that are, free agents like Christian Covington, and you lost Malik Collins to the Raiders. So what you gonna do now? So now you got Gerald McCoy. Now let's talk about Gerald McCoy. I was on Twitter and stuff. I was gonna do my video earlier, but I'm doing home assignments for work and stuff, so I had to take care of my work stuff first. But you look at Gerald McCoy, right? He's 32 years old. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, like, he's old and this and that. This is the thing. When age comes into factor, if a player is still playing top notch, I don't give a damn how old they are. You understand what I'm saying? So when a player gets to a certain age and everybody's like, oh, he's old and this and that, decrepit, if his play shows that he's old and decrepit, then okay. But his age ain't showing old and decrepit. Let's look at some of his numbers. First of all, he signs a 3-year deal with the Dallas Cowboys. It's a contract that I'm okay with. The contract is it's a 3-year deal, $18.3 million in total, and with incentives he can get up to 20 mil. So I'm assuming that those incentives are sack totals, like if he gets a certain amount of sacks, a certain amount of pressures, a certain amount of tackles. So it's all incentive based after the 18.3 mil. So for 3 years, that's a very cheap deal. That's good money right there. I like that. You get a good caliber guy for that type of money, especially at the defensive tackle position. They're going to put him right there in the middle. He's going to be that big, strong person that you could get. Now, if we can also get Snacks Harrison, I would be happy as well. But I don't know. I don't know what the market is for Snacks. I haven't heard them showing interest in Snacks either. But so that's it. It's a 3-year deal, 18.3 mil. So you look at his stats last year when he was with Carolina. So when he was with Carolina, he had 5 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, 13 quarterback hits. And that's just to name a few of his stats. Now, he's been pretty productive his whole entire career because prior to being with the Panthers, I think the first was 9 years or whatever his career. What year are we in? So, yeah, 9 because it's 2020. So the 10th year was with the Panthers. Right. So, yeah, the first 9 years he was with the Buccaneers. So he started his career with the Buccaneers. He was drafted 3rd overall in 2010. So that shows you how good of a player he was coming out. And for him to still be playing at a high pace, he's been to 6 Pro Bowls. At the defensive tackle position, that's hard to do because at the defensive tackle position, you're not a sack guy. You guys got to understand that. See, all of you guys are worried about what shows on paper. But good players, there's certain positions in this league that the stats don't show on paper. When you don't hear about them is when they're doing their job. Like a defensive tackle, their primary goal is to clog and contain and eat blocks up and collapse the middle of that pocket so the ends can eat. Now, if your defensive tackle is getting you more than 2 sacks a season, that's a good year for a defensive tackle, especially at the 1 technique. If he's a 3 tech, then it's different. Then he could be more of a sack guy. But if he's a 1 technique, his job is not to be a pass rusher, period. I just want you guys to understand that. So when we're talking about DTs, understand that there's 2 different type of DTs, and there's, depending on where you are on that line, is what your job is, whether you're in a 3-4 or a 4-3 base defense. So it makes a difference, guys. So understand that. So another thing is this. Like I said, he was picked 3rd overall in 2010 by the Buccaneers. He's been to 6 Pro Bowls, and in his career, he has 59.5 sacks, 59.5 sacks in his career. Pretty good for a DT. Now, if we get Snacks Harrison up in this mug too, to just go along with Gerald McCoy, that'd be good. Like I told you guys before, I wanted Gerald McCoy before he signed with the Panthers last year. And because I saw some of the production that he did, I thought he would have been good with Marinelli. But now that we got Mike Nolan, he could be even better. Jim Tom Sula, defensive line coach, he can definitely do something with him. We get another defensive tackle in this free agency period. I think that we'll be good to go. The Dallas Cowboys are also looking at Emmanuel Sanders. So if they get Emmanuel Sanders, I'm gonna be happy because you're gonna get that production back that you lost from Randall Cobb and some, because it's to be said, Randall Cobb, Emmanuel Sanders, they're both slot guys, but who do you think is better? You know what I mean? It really depends on who you're talking to and what scheme that you're playing in. But the thing with Randall Cobb, he's a little more versatile because he can play both the slot and the outside. So that's the reason why the Texans picked him up, because they're going to use him as an outside player. So that's going to be interesting. I think with the Texans, they're gonna make Cobb their key guy. So I don't think that's the type of position he needs to be playing. He needs to be a guy that's like, a supporting role. Same thing with Emmanuel Sanders. He's a small guy, so it's not like he's going to be your number one. But having him on your team with Amari and Michael Gallup, I think will be really good. Go ahead. Get Emmanuel Sanders on this team by any means necessary. Sign that boy today. Like I'm watching the wire right now, just waiting to see what happens. Also, they're also looking at the cornerback Desmond Trufant. So it looks like they're in a turf war fight with a rival team. I think the Redskins were trying to get him to, but they signed Kendall Fuller. So I don't see why they need Desmond Trufant, but it's either them or the Eagles. But the Eagles need a cornerback, so they're probably going after him as well. So yeah, if we get Desmond Trufant and Gerald McCoy, I'm like, salute to that. I'll be happy, because that means the Cowboys are making moves. So, but we still got to figure out what we're going to do with some of these other free agents that we have on the team, because there's still some guys that haven't been signed that's left over. So I'm curious to see what they do with some of these other guys. But that's all I have for right now. Let me know what you guys think about the Gerald McCoy signing. And I don't want to hear anybody in the chat and in the comments talking about he too old and because he's 32 and this and that. Let me tell you something. He's 32 years old, but he's more than capable of still getting the job done as far as being a defensive tackle for this team. I'm excited about it. I think that he's going to be a good addition to the Dallas Cowboys. So with that being said, for now, that's all I got. It's your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. Talk to y'all soon.